let's shift our attention to you and what you're currently doing. You've been on a journey these past few months where you had a dream in your heart, JC, and you wanted to accomplish something. Tell us about this journey and how it's going.
Yes, so I am currently training for a bikini competition in the summer of 2021. I actually have my show date now. It may get moved because of COVID, but
Right.
as of right now, it's July 10th. And I've been training since October of last year. The reason I wanted to try it was, like you said, it was a dream of mine for a long time. I think it was 6 or 7 years ago. I was just on YouTube poking around and I saw this niche of bikini competitor vloggers, and I was just enraptured at their dedication and their motivation to do this extraordinary thing and push themselves, and
Yes.
it just inspired me. But I never felt mentally ready for it until Carnivore and until October of last year when I decided to go for it.
What was the spark? Like, obviously by that point you'd been doing Carnivore for 9 months. You were feeling good. You probably were feeling stronger from the sufficiency in amino acids, maybe that you didn't have up until last year. What was it? What sparked you?
I decided I wanted to live for myself. I think with Carnivore, there just comes this sense of clarity for me and just wanting to live with purpose.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where no one will ever be entirely happy with you. Like, it doesn't matter what I eat, someone's going to have a bone to pick with me. And so I figured, why not just live for myself? And I've had this dream for so long. Let's go. Let's
And
do
they can
it.
have a bone to pick with you as long as you get the meat on that bone.
Yeah, right. They can have a bone to pick with me as long as it's ribs and I can have them.
Yes, yes, a little pork belly, all the above.
Yeah.
So, so you've been training hot and heavy since November, kind of is officially when you really ramped up.
In October, I hired a coach. So
Okay.
October was when I first started training. Yeah.
Okay. And so you've been at this a few months, and you've been sharing your journey. You guys, again, go to Lady Carnivory over on Instagram, where you share regularly. You don't go live real often, but when you do, you kind of talk about things and you have open-ended questions where you've answered a lot of the questions that you're answering for me today. And of course, post regular body shots and body fat percentage changes and muscle composition and da-da-da. She's a nerd and we love it here on the show because like that kind of stuff is what people are interested in. And you're very lean. So people, look at your photos and go, okay, that little tiny body is putting on muscle. How much muscle have you put on?
That's hard for me to say. I would say it's been 3 months, probably 4 or 5 pounds of muscle.
That's wonderful. Like that's
Yeah.
hard because you've also been leaning out and you weren't that big to start because keto carnivore was really, it had already manifested itself. So it wasn't that you needed to lose body fat, but people always say you can either lose body fat or gain muscle. And I'm like, no, you can do both. People do both all the time.
Yes, I did both.
Yeah. And
It's
so, do you have an ultimate goal by the time you get to the show, or are you just going through your methodical nature? Which, by the way, you guys, like on Monday, she's like, "All right, here's my set for the week. I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And here's the split and da da da." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I don't know what half of that meant, but I'm going to watch anyways."
I don't have a particular weight goal for the stage. It's very much aesthetic based. So there's kind of
I didn't say weight. I said how much muscle would you like to put on by the time you get to the show?
as much as possible.
Right. I knew that was going to be the answer. But I think ostensibly, I mean, you're talking about July and it's only early February as of the recording of this. You got plenty of time. You could easily put on 10, 12 pounds worth of muscle. And of course, it manifests in showing up in various parts of your body. Like, is that exciting for you seeing the changes and noticing like little nuances, anything of particular interest that you've seen lately?
Yes, lately my quads have really started to develop.
Yeah.
I signed up with a new coach from the one I had in October. I'm actually with a different coach now, and he has me doing a ton of deadlifts and a ton of squats. And oh, it's so good. I feel so strong and I can see development. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen you do not just workouts at the gym, but also you also post videos on your site of like home workouts. You got that little band thing around your legs, the butt lifts and getting the ab workout. And yeah, it's fun watching your journey. And you and I have had talks off the air of like, what's your goal with this? Is it just, hey, I did it, kind of like people that go into the Boston Marathon? Well, I ran the Boston Marathon. Wow, that's an accomplishment. I was in a bikini competition. Wow, that's cool. Like, what's your best case scenario? Are you going to win the whole thing?
I would love to. That would be awesome. But I'm happy to be in the journey and I'm happy to be in the struggle and I'm happy to be able to pursue my goal. I'm very grateful.
And see, I think that's the right mindset, JC. I think a lot of times people set themselves up to fail at something because they shoot too high. You shoot high, but then your expectation is, hey, I'm just happy to be on the journey.
Absolutely. If you don't love the journey, it's going to make your goal that much harder to achieve, right? Because it's going to be a struggle every step of the way. For me, I get up at 4 a.m. and I love it because I get to go work on my dream.
Yeah, she started this podcast, you guys, at 5 a.m. And Jimmy's early every day, but you've only been up a little over an hour now. So God bless you for coming on camera. I've been up since 3, so that's been almost 4.5 hours for me that I've been awake. So well, that's awesome. And I love the mindset of, hey, let's do this. I can do this. I'm capable of anything that I hope and dream and want in my life. And you're doing it. And here's the funny part of that mindset, and see if you agree with this. When you get into that mode of I can do anything and I'm going to enjoy the journey, it actually propels you to the best possible you at the end of that journey.
Absolutely. I I enjoy stoicism as a
Yeah.
mindset management tool, and I really think struggle is what makes us better people. If our lives were all easy, we would just be very complacent and eat meatless burgers. But if you have a little bit of hardship to work through, it just definitely makes you a better person.
Can you explain that for people that may not have heard that term stoicism before? What it is, and then how you manifest that in your life?
Absolutely. I'm probably not the best person to explain this, but Stoicism was a Greek philosophy, I believe, and it was used as a mindset management tool. It's basically just acknowledging and recognizing what's happening on your internal self and controlling what you can on the inside instead of trying to control external factors. For me personally, it's been really great because, especially in COVID, in the pandemic, when everything is,
She said the C word.
sorry, it's so chaotic on externally and there's nothing you can control. If you
Yeah.
can control what's happening on the inside and control your emotions and decide how you want to feel and how you want to think, it makes the rest of the world so much easier to manage.
Yes, and I think so many people have been overcome because they've gone the anti-stoicism route where they feel everything in the moment. And man, like talk about overwhelming your body. Like you went through being on Carnivore the entire pandemic last year, and I kept thinking about like who started keto or carnivore or some real food based eating in 2020, because most people went the other way. They were so distraught that they turned to junk food, but here you are in the midst of all that. That stoicism kept you focused, and so many people, they've lost their focus. How do you rekindle that in people, or maybe start it for the first time, that have never done that before?
Ooh, I definitely think it helps to have a really good why. Anytime you're doing something, you have to have a good why. You have to have a good reason for doing it. Otherwise, you won't be motivated to continue. And I think, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people start keto for weight loss. And I think that's really great if that is your goal. But I think that perhaps bigger health goals, like I want to live to a certain age so I can play with my grandchildren. I think that that is a really great why. And if you don't have it so focused on a numerical value on your scale, but instead on longevity and health,
Right.
I think that's the key.
For sure. One of the lovely things you put on your Instagram profile is progress is greater than perfection. And of course, that's kind of a slogan that's been out there for a few years that various people use. What's it mean to you?
I can be such a perfectionist to the point where it's paralyzing. If I can't do something perfectly, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
So previous to Carnivore, that was definitely me.
Oh my gosh. So many people live their lives that way, JC, where they get paralyzed by the fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I get that, by the way, because I was that way as well. I'm like, what? Why get bogged down by this pursuit of something that's an ideal that's probably not even true? Like, don't you want more for your life? And so progress towards that more. And then at some point, take the plunge and go for it.
Right. I'd rather take baby steps forward, even if they are imperfect steps. I'm still moving forward rather than not taking a step at all because I'm afraid of falling.
Which is the epitome of what you're doing with this bikini competition.
Absolutely. It's tiny, uncomfortable, very awkward baby steps all the time.
On some level, you've got to be scared shitless right now about, oh my God, what am I, JC, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, like, what are people going to think? Oh, they're going to laugh at me because I'm not. And you're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to have like all these thoughts swirling. Knowing you well enough, it won't overcome you, but I'm sure those thoughts pop in your head.
Absolutely. Yesterday, someone asked me how long or how far out from your show do you get into the intense prep part? And I was like, typically it's 12 weeks. And they were like, oh my gosh, that's coming up so soon. And I was like, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I'm excited for it.
Yes, 12 weeks out. What's that, mid-March?
It should be mid-April.
Mid-April. Okay. See, I did the math wrong. Ah, wow, mid-April. So by the time income tax day gets here, it's all 100% pursuit. What's funny, what'll be funny, well, not funny, but strange, is if you get in the midst of that and then like a month or two before, they're like, yep, we're going to have to move it to like September now. And oh, you'll have to like down mode. Of course, I know a lot of people, what Dr. Fit and Fabulous went through her little competition that she was doing for Mrs. America, uh, or something that she was doing. And it was the same thing. Like she had her hopes and dreams and ready and ready and ready. And then, oh, we moved it. And so then she had to like reframe her brain and kind of get back again. Are you ready for that if that happens, by the way?
Absolutely. If it is delayed, I'll just bring a stronger package. A couple more months is a couple more months of muscle building. I will take it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because you got a late start. I suppose these ladies that you'll be competing against, this has been like a lifelong dream. Maybe they've been in several competitions before. And so they've kind of been working on this for years, you know, and it's beautiful that you're willing to take that chance. This is your foray into doing something for JC, maybe for the first time in your life.
Absolutely. I had to convince my coach to take me on. He doesn't like to train bodybuilders for a show at first. He prefers to train them for a photo shoot so they have an idea of what to expect. And he was like, I just need them to have a really good why as to why they're putting themselves through this, because it is intense. You are working out a lot. You have to make sure your nutrition is really dialed in. And I told him it was the first thing I was doing for me. It's not for a partner or a parent. It's just because I want to, and I don't care what people think about that.
Oh, I wish we could instill that in everybody. Guys, you right out there, you listen to the podcast. If you have a pursuit in your heart you desire, why the hell are you sitting on the sidelines wishing and wanting and hoping with all hopes that it will happen? Guys, it don't just manifest. You have to make that manifestation happen, kind of like what you're doing now with this competition.
Yeah, I say it a lot, but you only get one life to live. Live it. To a certain extent, do what you want, pursue your goals. You only get one chance.
And live it fully. I think people get comfortable in existing. and they miss thriving.